Harry, you know the secret of my sister Oriana's ill health, what those muggles did, what she became. You know how my poor father sought revenge and paid the price, died in Azkaban. You know my mother gave up her own life to care for Oriana. I resented it, Harry. I was gifted, I was brilliant. I wanted to escape, I wanted to shine, I wanted glory. Do not misunderstand me, I loved them. I loved my parents, I loved my brother and my sister, but I was selfish. So that when my mother died and I was left the responsibility of a damaged sister and a wayward brother, I returned to my village in anger and bitterness, trapped and wasted, I thought. And then Grindelwald came. You cannot imagine how his ideas caught me and inflamed me. Muggles forced into subservience, we wizards triumphant. Grindelwald and I, the glorious young leaders of the revolution. Did I know in my heart of hearts what Grindelwald was? I think I did, but I closed my eyes. If the plans we were making came to fruition, all my dreams would come true, and at the heart of our schemes, the Deathly Hallows. How they fascinated him, how they fascinated both of us. The unbeatable wand, the weapon that would lead us to power. The resurrection stone to him, though I pretend not to know it. It meant an army of inferi. To me, I confess, it meant the return of my parents and the lifting of all responsibility from my shoulders. 2 months of insanity, of cruel dreams, and the neglect of the only two members of my family left to me. And then reality returned in the form of my rough, unlettered, and infinitely more admirable brother Everforth. I didn't want to hear the truth he shouted at me. I didn't want to hear that I couldn't step forced to seek the Deathly Hallows with a fragile and unstable sister Oriana in tow. The argument became a fight. Grindelwald lost control. That which I had always sensed in him now sprang into terrible being. And Oriana, after my mother's care and caution, lay dead upon the floor. Grindelwald fled, as anyone but I could have predicted. He vanished, with his plans for seizing power, and his schemes for Muggle torture, and his dreams of the Deathly Hallows, dreams in which I had encouraged him and helped him. Here and while I was left to bury my sister and learn to live with my guilt and my terrible grip, the price of my shame. Years passed. There were rumors about him. They said he had procured a wand of immense power. While I was busy myself with the training of young wizards, Grindelwald was raising an army. They say he feared me, and perhaps he did, but less than I feared him. It was the truth I feared. I never knew which of us had actually cast the curse that killed my sister. I dreaded beyond all things the knowledge that it had been I who brought about her death. I think he knew what frightened me. I delayed meeting him until finally it would have been too shameful to resist any longer. People were dying and he seemed unstoppable, and I had to do what I could do. I want a duel, I want a wand.